They didn't just call her a liar. They said she was unstable. They said she was chasing attention. And when the police finally walked her out of the house she had lived in for 11 years, in front of neighbors who suddenly couldn't look her in the eye, she realized something far worse than being accused had already happened. She had been decided. Imagine knowing the truth with every fiber of your body, feeling it like a second pulse under your skin, and still watching the world quietly agree to. Emily lived a life so ordinary it barely left a mark. Front desk job at a physical therapy clinic outside Columbus. Same burnt coffee every morning. Same radio station on the drive home. Her marriage to Daniel Carter looked normal, quiet, contained, respectable. No one saw cracks because cracks don't announce themselves. They wait patiently, growing beneath the surface until collapse feels sudden to everyone except the person standing inside it. It came on a Tuesday afternoon. Daniel told her not to come home yet. His voice was controlled in a way that felt rehearsed. When she asked why, there was a pause. Then he said something that didn't make sense until much later. When she tried to explain, every word betrayed her. Calm sounded calculated. Emotion sounded guilty. Someone wrote claims innocence instead of denies allegation. Language shifted. And once language shifts, reality follows. That night, lying awake in a house that already felt lost, one thought kept repeating, what happens when the truth isn't enough? The silence didn't arrive all at once. It crept in slowly, disguising itself as space, as politeness, as people not knowing what to say. Friends stopped calling. Not out of cruelty, out of discomfort. Accusations make people uneasy, especially unresolved ones. It's safer to step back than to stand too close. At work, her manager avoided eye contact before gently suggesting she take some time. No one fired her. They didn't have to. Isolation did the job quietly, a temporary protective order followed. Emily wasn't allowed back into her own home. She packed a small bag under supervision, her movements watched, her presence treated like a risk. She slept on her sister's couch, staring at the ceiling at night, replaying conversations, searching for the moment everything broke. The smell of detergent on borrowed blankets made her chest tighten. Nothing belonged to her anymore, not even her story. She kept thinking it would clear itself up. Surely the truth, She kept thinking it would clear itself up. Surely the truth had weight. Surely someone would notice the gaps. But days became weeks, and weeks became months. Daniel's version hardened with repetition. Each retelling added confidence, detail, authority. Lies don't need to be elaborate. They just need consistency. Emily learned quickly that defending yourself doesn't make you look innocent, it makes you look desperate. Her attorney spoke carefully, choosing words that sounded reasonable but felt like surrender. These cases rarely end cleanly, he said. Sometimes it's better to move on. Move on from what? From a version of herself she didn't recognize? From a life quietly dismantled? Emily nodded but felt something inside her resist. Not anger. Not revenge. Something colder. Refusal. At night, she wondered how many people were living inside stories they never agreed to. How many truths were dismissed simply because they were inconvenient. If this were you, would you keep fighting? Or would you let silence rewrite you just to make the pain stop? 6 months passed. Then 9. The case stalled but never disappeared. The accusation lingered like a shadow that followed her everywhere. And just when she began to fear this was how it would end, unfinished, unresolved, Daniel said something small that changed everything. It happened during mediation, in a room that smelled faintly of old carpet and stale coffee. Daniel spoke confidently, recounting the argument that supposedly proved her aggression. He described the kitchen, the time of day, where she stood, how she looked. Emily felt her stomach drop, not because he was right, but because something clicked. A memory surfaced, sharp and sudden. He was describing a moment he didn't realize had been preserved. Emily kept her face neutral. Suspense isn't about waiting for something new. Sometimes it's about realizing something old has been waiting for you. She said nothing. Let him talk. Let him build. That night, she dug through a box she hadn't opened since moving out. Old phones. Tangled chargers. Receipts yellowed with age. At the bottom, wrapped in a plastic grocery bag, was her previous phone. She almost ignored it. Almost convinced herself it was pointless. But something made her charge it. When it powered on, notifications flooded the screen, frozen in time. Then she found it. A voice memo. Recorded accidentally months before the accusation. She remembered now. She'd been testing a recording app for work. The phone had been left on the counter during that argument. Her hands shook as she pressed play. At first, only background noise. The hum of the refrigerator. Then voices. Daniel's voice wasn't afraid. It wasn't defensive. It was controlled. Angry. Accusing. Emily's voice sounded smaller than she remembered. Tired. Apologetic. She never threatened him. Never touched him. But then, clear as day, he said, "If you don't stop questioning me, I'll make sure no one believes you." Emily sat on the floor and listened again. And again. Proof doesn't shout. Sometimes it whispers, waiting for the moment someone is ready to hear it. The recording didn't fix everything instantly. Real life doesn't work that way. But it shifted the temperature of the room. Her attorney's tone changed. A forensic expert verified the file's authenticity. The narrative, once solid, began to fracture. When Daniel was confronted, he didn't deny the recording. He minimized it. Claimed it was taken out of context. But context is fragile when your own words contradict you. The protective order was lifted. Quietly. Without apology. No announcement. No acknowledgement of what she'd endured. Some people reached out. Most didn't. Silence returned, but it felt different now. Less like abandonment. More like avoidance. The divorce finalized months later. Emily never got back the time she lost. Trauma doesn't reverse itself just because the truth surfaces. But something changed. She stopped apologizing for existing. She took a job at a different clinic. New routine. New coffee shop. Same radio station. Healing wasn't dramatic. It was subtle. Sleeping through the night. Answering the phone without flinching. Letting the past stay where it belonged. Before this ends, ask yourself, how many stories do we accept simply because they're told confidently? And how many truths disappear because they're inconvenient? If this story made you feel something, stay with this channel. Subscribe so stories like this aren't lost to silence. And tell me, if this had been you, would you have kept going?